So,
Hey guys, we're back. We have our third guest. We have the only person maybe in the world who not only looks like a superhero, but could actually fight one like one too. Maybe even a Super Saiyan if you want to go that far. We have Super Sage Northcutt. So let's welcome him here. We're awesome. So as mentioned, we have Sage Northcutt here. Sage, thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate it.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we just wanted to take a bit of time today, get to talk to you about your upcoming plans for 2021, some of your past fights and such. So what have you currently been up to right now? How are you staying busy during the pandemic and such?
Man, so I just got back into some training. I'm out in Sacramento, California right now, and yeah, everything's been kind of crazy since the pandemic. Actually, right now, I just got tested for COVID and came back positive. So
Oh, wow.
right now, yeah, literally today. Since like right now, I'm actually kind of sick, but since last Thursday, I've had a fever of like 101 every single day, and
Holy.
doing stuff. Yeah,
wow.
so it's been kind of getting well over that. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, looking forward to fighting like probably like the beginning of April or end of April sometime.
Nice. So you think like there's been a lot of people maybe for like false positives and such, but like you actually feel sick? You think you actually probably have COVID realistically?
Yeah, I think so. Just because, yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that, but yeah, my coach Uriah Faber and some of my teammates and stuff, they came back positive, and I've had a fever every single day of like 101. I feel real fatigued and like headaches, all sorts of stuff. So now I'm like super congested, so I sound kind of sick. Sorry about that,
Not at all, man.
but yeah.
We wish you well. We hope you recover quick from that,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah, I'll be well fast. Thanks.
Well, getting right into it. I do wish you well, though. I hope that you can get over this as soon as possible. You can get back in the gym, and everyone else can get back at it too, and life can start again.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Thank you so much.
no worries, man. It's health comes first, right?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I'll get right into it. So one thing we've seen in the past little bit is you've gotten into a little bit of acting here and there. So we've seen that there was that Street Fighter trailer that came out, and
Right.
it looked pretty. It looked like you were in a regular fight, just on a movie. um,
Right, right. Yeah, I've been wanting to get into some more acting. I think I've done 20 something commercials
Oh,
since I
wow.
was a kid. And then like you're talking about, we filmed a pilot for Street Fighter, but
yeah.
hopefully it gets launched soon and they pick it up. I know they had some things with the rights of the Street Fighter name. I think they were trying to deal with, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was actually looking forward to getting into some acting right around the time COVID hit. I had some headshots taken, and then unfortunately, pretty much everything in Hollywood shut down. So haven't had a chance to go on any auditions, but hopefully here in the future.
Yeah, and are you hoping that maybe after MMA, this is something like kind of a secondary career for you moving forward?
Yeah, I think that'd be super fun. Maybe even during MMA too, like doing both at the same time, because I could totally see myself doing action movies, kind of like Thor, Hulk, Avengers, like all those kind of things. Doing like the stunts, I could do all the stunts, and I think it'd be a blast.
Hey, Randy Couture did the Expendables back in the day, so there you go.
Right? Yeah, he sure did. Yep.
And in that Street Fighter movie, if we look back to actually one of their old films, I believe it was 1994, Jean-Claude Van Damme, if I'm not mistaken, played the same character that you actually were in that film. Is that someone that you looked up to growing up, just based on your style and kind of who he was?
Man, JeanClaude, I think he's got some incredible kicks. His flexibility too. Speaking of him, actually, I don't know how far ago it was, like how many months back. I saw this commercial, and I don't know if it was a commercial that was on TV or what, but I saw it on YouTube. You gotta check it out if you haven't seen it. He was full blown like doing the splits on two trucks. And I think they were like two like semi 18-wheeler trucks. And I think they were going back with somebody. He was doing like the
Oh my
splits
God.
on them. It was crazy.
No, I've
So
never seen that one. I'll definitely have to look it
oh
up.
yeah, I don't know if it's real or not, but I was like, man, that's insane. So yeah, no, I look up to him, his flexibility. He actually came by Team Alpha Male, the gym I train at here in Sacramento. I missed him. I actually wasn't in town, but I know he came by and saw the team and stuff. And I think he's friends with Uriah Faber, so that was pretty cool. But hopefully one day I'll meet him.
I mean, it definitely seems like it'll happen. He probably went just for you, Sage.
Thanks. Yeah, he seems cool.
Oh, that's great. That's the career you can have there. Hopefully you can get to that level of someone like that where you can get into those action movies, because that would be like the next level.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Speaking of action movies, I have some friends, like a friend of mine named Caitlin Dechelle. I have another friend named Cole Eckert. different people that I grew up with in martial arts and the sport karate, and they've been so successful doing all the stunts for like Wonder Woman and all these huge movies, and I could see myself doing something like that in the future. It'd be really fun.
Definitely.
Yep.
And going into kind of our next topic here, we wanted to speak to you a bit about your upbringing. So what was it like to start training and maybe even competing at the age of 4 years old? We've seen, like, at 4, I think I was just getting into watching TV basically. So how are you fighting at the age of 4?
Yeah. So starting at 4, I actually started off in karate. So I remember my family put me in the 5 and under division when I was a kid, and they had me start off there. Then it was 6 to 7 year olds, and then 7 to 8. And anyways, it kept going on and on as I got older. But yeah, my dad and mom had me doing push-ups and sit-ups since I was 4 years old. I remember my dad, I'm sure there's pictures out there. My dad, I specifically remember when I was little, like one of my first memories I could ever remember in my head was him helping me out do sit-ups with his fingers, push-ups. and then by the time I was like 6 or 7, I was doing like 250 or 500 every single day, like straight. Yeah, I'd be in the back of my my family. They used to have a Ford Excursion, one of those big SUV trucks, and I'd be in the back doing push-ups and sit-ups, laying in the back on like a blow-up mattress on the way to compete for tournaments. Yeah, it was fun growing up doing all that, and definitely motivated.
I could definitely imagine so.
Yep.
And at one point, you went out to pursue education, but then you went out to get what you're in engineering, in a petroleum engineering. What we see. Is that what made you decide it was time to leave school full on and really go full into what you're doing now?
So yeah, speaking of that, I got accepted into petroleum engineering at Texas A&M University, it's one of the most prestigious schools in the U.S. for oil and gas. They only accept about 40 kids per semester into the program.
Oh, wow.
And I started going to school there for that specifically. And then at the same time, I actually started fighting professionally. So I had my first professional fight when I was 17. Even though you're supposed to be 18, my parents happened to sign off on it. It's what I grew up doing. And then I started going to school to be an engineer, and I was kind of juggling both at the same time. Yeah. And I decided I got picked up by a big fighting organization and decided, I want to put all my time and effort into this. I grew up since I was 4 years old training and being in shape, eating healthy, and figured I'd give it all while I get a chance, my body and my skill set and everything I can give to it. And then I can always go back to school later. So something I can still do is go back and get my degree. But right now it's been fighting.
Yeah. So after fighting, or maybe even during too, do you have aspirations to get your degree again? Or do you just feel like maybe you kind of have all the knowledge you want in that field and that part of your life is almost behind you?
Man, like we're speaking about my degree. Like a minute ago, we were talking about doing acting. And then we're talking about me fighting too.
Yeah.
I'm super blessed. I'm very blessed to have all these different avenues. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility going back to school in the future. But right now, I'm super blessed having the spot that I'm at right now to have the ability to be able to fight and also look forward to doing acting in the future too. So, but definitely a possibility to get my degree.
Hey, everything's online now. So if there's an easiest time, do it now.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Going back to the fighting, so whenever you first started, you were on a pretty good undefeated streak. You ran through your first 7 guys, and I know that as humble as you are, looking back, did you feel a little invincible back then?
I wouldn't say I felt invincible. Like obviously I was young, and I'm still very young now. I'm only 24, so like you're still learning all the time. And people make mistakes, not only as fighters, but whatever they do. So no, I wouldn't say I felt invincible, but once you go into a fight, you got to have a mindset of, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to try to beat this guy. You got to feel confident you're going to go out there and do that. So you kind of have to feel like that mindset going into the fight. But overall, no, I mean, we're only human, and even the best fighters out there in the world that are the champs and stuff, everybody's hungry coming up trying to beat them. So.
Yeah, definitely. And looking back on your kind of your first fights. I believe your second fight was against Jacob Capelli, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
The way you won that fight, I remember looking back, and it really showcased your killer instinct. Like, you had him down, and you were over there, and you almost had him in like the Wanderlei Silva mount, where you were just on top of him, giving it to him nasty elbows. How does a guy like you, who's so nice, all of a sudden just turn into a pure killer in the ring, and then just turn it off just in a snap of the finger again?
Man, thanks. So it's kind of like if I try to describe it, it's like flipping a switch somewhat. Like, it doesn't have to do anything with how nice you are or anything like that. It's more of like a sport that you train for. You have that skill set, and just any moment, if you have to, let's say you have to go defend someone like on the street, or you're having a fight out there in the ring, it just switches like that. Like, you're in the moment, and you're out there to win, and you're out there to do it as fast as possible, whatever the circumstance is. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset for sure.
Yeah, and do you think that's kind of more like just showing how disciplined you are, where like you can literally turn it off like that? Do you think it just goes to show that, whereas an athlete, as a martial artist, your karate upbringing, it truly did make you very disciplined in that regard?
I think so, for sure. I know there's some guys out there that can't turn it off, and they're kind of going around angry sometimes, or they're upset or mad, and I feel bad for that, because I mean, you don't want to be like that. I mean, you want to be able to have that switch, be able to turn on, turn off, so that way it's a sport overall, and you're out there competing as a sport. So there's no need to bring back like a fighting mentality into everyday life around other people that aren't trying to fight you.
No, definitely. I feel like a lot of fighters definitely struggle with that.
Yeah.
As a fighter, you're still like the happiest guy I know.
Thanks.
Going back to your career. So in your career, you've had 4 fights at 165, and you're undefeated at that weight. Most recently, you fought at welterweight, and you said you're not going to be going back to the welterweight for a little bit. And with that being said, do you think that MMA should truly consider introducing a 165-pound division?
Yeah, you know that you mentioned it. I mean, the weight classes go from 155 pounds to 170. And if you look at the weight classes below that, it's like 125, 135, 145, 155. It's like a 10-pound jump. Then it goes from 155 to 170, and then 170, 185, and it's kind of like a 15-pound jump. And then obviously you got like the heavyweights, and that's a huge jump. But I mean, there's a lot of guys that walk around and they're like kind of in between that weight. I think it'd be cool to have that weight class. I mean, you have some of the most insane fighters out there, the most crazy skill set that are right there at like 155 pounds and 170-pound division. So I think it'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of fighters who would definitely like that as well. Same thing, like you said, that kind of middleweight to light heavyweight jump. It's definitely a huge gap as well.
Right.
And then kind of on that note as well, like Alex mentioned, you said you won't be fighting at welterweight again. When you say that, do you mean you won't be fighting at 185 again? Because that's technically what one championship welterweight is. Or do you mean welterweight in general you're done fighting at?
No, right, exactly. So like my last fight, one championship, I fought up at 185. That's my first time ever fighting at that weight class. And obviously learned by mistake, but the weight class was a weight class that's too big for me. I'm going to go back down, and maybe that weight class will be in the future, but only being 24 right now, I don't have the size. And,
the old man weight, not yet.
Yeah. So definitely going back down weight classes, and yeah, 185 is not even in the picture.
Nice. And looking back at your fights before one, if you could change the result of one of those fights, what would it be and why?
You said before one championship, or including the one?
Before one championship, before you got there.
Oh, before one championship? You know, I mean, I don't know, because one of the things I've learned is like sometimes you have a loss, and that's where you learn the most stuff from, is having a loss. So like one of my fights before, in the previous organization I was fighting with the UFC, I fought and I didn't really have like a training camp. I was still in college and trying to get my degree, and then kind of going into a fight without any kind of training. So if I could change that, maybe I would have got into a training camp like Team Alpha Male sooner instead of later.
No, that definitely makes sense.
Yep.
Building upon what you just said, why was Team Alpha Male the best gym for you to join?
So I went to a few different gyms, actually. I went to visit my friend Michael Chandler, who, by the way, is amazing. Went to visit
UFC
him.
debut.
Yeah, he's awesome. Man, he's so cool. He taught me about how to drink so much water. Have you ever interview him? Like, I went down to go train with him, and I never, like, when I met him, I never was drinking water. Like, literally, I'll have, like, the most intense training, and the whole day, I would only drink a few cups of water. I'm not joking. Like, literally. I got down there, he's like, Sage, you got to learn how to drink a whole gallon of water.
Yeah.
So every day, he was making me drink a whole gallon of water, and we'd have, like, gallon chugging contest, and he's like, you got to drink this before you eat dinner. It was so funny. So anyways, yeah, he's a super cool guy, super talented. He's so awesome. But yeah, no, Team Alpha Male stuck out to me because you have Urijah Faber that owns the gym, and kind of it all flows down from the owner. Urijah Faber's personality is so upbeat, positive, and how he kind of is very hands-on with everybody. Plus, he's a UFC Hall of Famer, one of the best in the world. It just kind of rubs off on the whole entire team. So for me, it's a great environment, and I'm always learning.
Yeah, and I guess kind of you mentioning those other gyms too. One gym we've seen you train at pretty extensively as well has been TriStar with Firas Zahabi. Have you had the chance to train with GSP?
Actually, yeah, I got to see GSP up there and got to train with him for a couple of weeks, and he's a super cool guy too. He took me to this, I think it was like a Russian hot spa in Canada. So we went to, like, he's crazy. So, like, we go to this, like, super cool hot tubs outside, but everything's frozen around it. Then he's like, all right, we're gonna sit in this hot tub for like 10 minutes, Sage. And then he goes, we're gonna go hop in this ice bucket, like a Russian ice bucket of solid ice. And then after that, we go into a steam room. And then from the steam room, there's like a frozen, like, pool. And the only way it's not frozen, like, underneath is because there's, like, a waterfall that's, like, keeping the water moving. So, like, we get up in there and we're, like, up to our necks, and we're trying to, like, walk across the frozen pool. Yeah, it was crazy, but he's super cool too. He's a very nice guy.
Nice. And in terms of his training itself, could you maybe tell us and the fans a story about training with him where, like, it's truly like, man, like, this guy is just another level? Was there time that you could think of that you could tell us about?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we went to, so me and George St. Pierre, we went to, I think it was the Olympic facility in Canada. I forgot what part of Canada it was because I was staying in Montreal, but he took me there one day to get some wrestling in with the guys there. And he's going with some of the best Olympic guys out there, and his wrestling is so good. Also, I saw him, he's got some strong shoulders. I saw him wrestling with one guy, and he literally had the guy with one arm, and like you see in CrossFit how they do, like, those Turkish get-ups.
Yeah.
Well, literally, he grabs the guy with one arm and he picks him up with one arm over his whole entire body and, like, stands up on his feet.
No way. That's like the worst technical thing ever.
Yeah, I'm like kidding though, like the strength he had to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. So strong.
It's funny you mentioned wrestling too, because one of our previous guests, Mark Holst, he also trained with George, and his wrestling, like, I was trying my hardest, and George had to, like, pick on me to be like, Mark, come on, try. Like, that's just how good he said George was.
That's funny.
And moving on to your debut in one FC or one championship, there's so many fighters that have been in one for quite a while. People like Eddie Alvarez. And they've mentioned that fighting in Asia to fight for one championship, the fans treat the fighters like heroes. Right. From the moment they get off the bus. Is that how does the fans out there differ from the North American fans that you've seen in the past?
Yeah, that's one thing that I really loved. The fans overseas in Asia, from what I've experienced so far, they're so loyal, and like, even during the fights, if something bad happens, you're watching the fights. Like, I can't pick out a time I've heard one fan even boo. Like here in America, you hear fans, like, booing in the audience, and, like, they'll be saying, like, curse words or getting mad at the fighters, even though the fighters are trying their hardest out there. But overseas, no, they're super respectful, and like, before and after the fights, like, the fans are so cool to the fighters. So I respect that too, and they seem to have a lot of character.
Definitely.
Nice.
And speaking of Eddie Alvarez, he's obviously, as Alex mentioned, been fighting in ONE FC. A guy like Shinya Aoki fights in ONE FC. These are a couple legends. Are those guys in your mind who you kind of have goals to fight, or are you purely set on Sage Northcutt wants to win a title right now?
Yeah, they're both awesome, both of them. So I think that'd be an honor to be able to fight them one day. right now I'm focused on getting back and having my first fight back. But yeah, one day it'd be an honor.
Yeah, and of the two of them, which of the two do you think you match up better against?
That's always a tough question. I feel like when you're looking at like the division, whoever the champ is at the moment is the toughest guy in the division. That's the guy you got to beat. And I know people match up differently with each other, but yeah, whoever the champ is, that's the toughest guy at the moment. I know that's always changing too. So right now, and then like 6 months later, a year later, that could be totally different.
And when you're looking at the featherweight division, outside of the champ, is there anyone there that piques your interest?
Every one of the guys in the division are super talented. All the top 10 guys and champion. So obviously, my goal is to be the champion.
Yeah,
and but right now, I'm looking forward to my first fight back, getting back out there, and then taking one fight at a time.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yep.
of that, I think you had mentioned earlier, you were looking to hopefully fight around April, May. Is there any word maybe around who that may be, or is that something that we can't speak about yet?
Yeah, so no word yet on who it may be, but I'll be sure to keep everybody updated and stuff. So like when I hear and get something officially booked, I'll be sure to let the fans know and everyone know.
Nice. And how many times do you think you'll get to fight this year? Maybe 2 based on the fact it'll be spring, or are you hoping to get 3 in?
Man, I'm hoping for 2 or 3. It'd be awesome to get 3 in. So I would love that. Yeah, so hopefully 3.
Nice.
Yep.
And outside of fighting, I know that you've done a couple of interviews recently talking about the Apprentice of one's new TV show. I know you can't talk too much about the details yet, but can you tell us a little bit about the plot or what your role was on the show?
Oh yeah, I can maybe tell you a little bit. I can't tell you too much, but all right. So, I mean, the old Apprentice with Donald Trump was very like business savvy, and this one's kind of not just business, but they put some physical challenges in there too, which I think is really cool, putting a twist. So these physical challenges, they have different guests that come on the show. I happen to be one of the guests. I believe I'm going to be on 2 different episodes in the season. I think they're going to release it too. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're going to release it in like March or April.
Nice.
And I think it'll be on Netflix also.
Oh, really?
So,
Nice.
yeah,
Wow.
that's what I've heard. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, you heard it from me. but yeah, that's pretty much all I can release. I'm looking forward to it. It was cool seeing the different, I guess the different teams and like seeing how the people are working. Cause I mean, they have a lot on the line. They were going for $250,000 and the chance to be able to work directly underneath Mr. Chaudhry. So, I mean, things were definitely getting heated for sure on the show.
Definitely. And
Yep.
and going back to kind of the 1-year fighting experience with them, they obviously have their different rules around weight cutting. Do you think more organizations should focus on that, pretty much kind of promoting 0 weight cutting or minimal? Or do you think the way that the traditional style is should continue to be as is, and one should keep doing their own thing?
Well, I think that one championship is going about it like with a smart approach. So they're trying to extend the longevity of their fighters, keeping them healthy. Also, I believe you had better performances. So I mean, you watch the performances. Every one of the fights I pretty much see out there, they're like top of the charts, most exciting, knocking people out or submitting people, and yeah. So I think it's something that other organizations could pick up in the future and should take a look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Going about the extreme weight cuts that certain people have had in the past, have you ever had any big weight cuts that really affected your fight the next day, or affected your overall ability going into the fight?
Definitely. I've had a few weight cuts where like literally I was cutting weight. I cut about 15 pounds, literally about 14, 15 pounds within like the day before the weigh-ins. And literally I was like, I'd be like half a pound away from making the weight. I always made weight, but half a pound away from making the weight. So I only need like 4 or 6 more ounces and my body would stop sweating. So there was no more sweat coming out. And just to get like an ounce of sweat, it would take like a couple hours, and
Oh my God.
your body feels like it's overheating. And then like your back, lower back, like kidneys are hurting really bad. Like you take a step and you drink a sip of water and like they kind of like lock up. And yeah, I've had it pretty bad. And kind of the next day, like you always gain back a lot of weight, but like the next day when you go out there to fight, I've had like a fight before where you feel like really foggy and kind of like not focused, if that makes sense. So it definitely can affect you if you have weight cut.
And like when you're in that mentality, does it like really affect you in the fight, or do you almost think like maybe he had it just as bad, and you kind of just hope for that?
Right. Yeah. You're kind of going by like when you're out there, you're kind of going by muscle memory. So like the times that I had a really tough weight cut, you want to go out there and kind of be able to bank at the spot, but those moments when you can't because you kind of feel foggy, you're kind of going by what you train doing. So it's all kind of muscle memory, your reactions, how you grab somebody, or how you take them down, and it's kind of just what you train pretty much.
And is there like anything that like you've done in a fight that like you really remember that like you don't even remember because it was kind of like that, where like it was just muscle memory and you're like, I don't even remember throwing that kick or something and like it landed flush? Could you think of anything like that?
Yeah, there's been a couple of fights where, like I was talking with Urijah Faber about it. There's been my coach, right? When there's been a couple of fights where like I'll go back and watch the fight, and I don't remember like most of the fight. I'm like, I don't remember any of that. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm like so in the moment, or if it's just because like maybe because I had a tough weight cut before, and like when I'm out there, I'm just kind of like fogged out. I'm just like hitting the guy and trying to take him down. But yeah, there's definitely moments where you don't remember like most of the stuff in the fight. You just remember going out there, maybe a few punches, and like you win the fight. That's about it.
Interesting.
Yep.
And speaking of fight, in your last fight, whenever you fought Cosmo, we recently had on again Mark Holst on our show, and he lost to Cosmo, but in a kickboxing match. And he spoke about how elite of a striker Cosmo really was. Did you know of his kickboxing and his pedigree whenever you first accepted that fight?
Yeah, he's a 7-time Muay Thai kickboxing world champion, super skilled. Obviously, the fight for me that night didn't go as planned, and everyone has an off night sometimes. And you take like the best champions in the world. There's been guys that lose that are like the champions. They lose in like 5 seconds flat. So but I'm gonna come back stronger. And it's only one fight, but yeah, he's super skilled. Nothing bad I can say about his performance.
Yeah, and after the fight, funny enough, looking back at it, what really stuck out to us wasn't the actual knockout. It was after the fight. You were there, you took the fight, you took the loss like a man. You looked like you obviously could see that you had injuries, but you didn't look in any pain. What did you feel in that moment? Like, did you just actually not feel anything, or were you like, oh my God, like, please just get me out of here? Like, what was going on? You looked more concerned with the fact you lost, honestly.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, obviously I was upset, but no, I don't really remember anything until about an hour and a half later. Like, even though I was aware, I wasn't like laying on the ground unconscious or anything. Don't remember anything until about an hour and a half later. Obviously, because I had broken some bones, and it was like obviously a certain amount of pain level there, so maybe that was blocking it out. But yeah, that's about it.
Interesting.
You probably had a pretty good surgeon. You can't even tell on your face.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, they did a great job. It's been healing up really nicely. So yeah, I'm super blessed that that turned out how it did, and I'm healing up good.
Nice. And in your timeline, in terms of when you will be a champion for one, what do you think? Do you think it'll happen this year, 2 years, 3 years? What in your mind is the ideal timeline?
Man, obviously you gotta take one fight at a time, but I hope like next year. I mean, I hope I can get it soon. Obviously, I want to have 3 fights this year if I can, 2-3 fights, and come back strong and everything. But ultimately, I'm taking it one fight at a time.
Nice.
And working towards it.
Do you think that eventually multiple title belts might be in Sage Northcutt's future?
That's obviously still the same game plan. Yeah, I want to. I mean, obviously, I want to be able to go fight kickboxing. I want to fight Muay Thai. I want to fight MMA. Right now, my focus is coming back an MMA fight at the very moment, and that one fight directly, and then taking a fight at a time. But yeah, so I definitely still want to be the champ in all those for sure.
Nice. And I know sometimes one championship, they do that kind of Grand Prix style format where it's more of a tournament. Are you a fan of those? Do you like them more? How do you feel about them?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I'm a huge fan of that. I think those are super cool. I'd love to do one of those sometime.
Nice. So we might see you in the next one then.
That'd be really cool.
Nice.
And whenever it comes down to your path, your family, of course, you're not the only fighter in your family. We know that your sister also fights 4-1. Do you get more nervous watching her fights than going into your own?
Oh, I think I do actually. I like I was actually at her fight in Singapore, her last fight for one championship, and yeah, I get pretty nervous watching her. I'm like, oh man, like obviously I feel confident in her skill set and stuff, but I'm like wow, I got like the butterflies in my stomach and my heart's racing, and like my last fights, several fights I've had, I'm like, man, I don't feel as nervous as when I watched my sister fight. So yeah, I get more nervous watching her for sure.
And kind of funny on that note, obviously growing up, anyone with siblings, especially if they have a sister, they want to protect, obviously. At what age did you kind of realize like Colby's good, I don't need to protect her, like she's fine?
Man, since she's always been like I don't even know, since I was like 7 years old. she's always been my bigger sister, like a big sister, like growing up 13, 14 years old. She's always been like right there, being able to protect herself, and that's what she trained for. So that's how my family put her in martial arts. That way she could protect herself.
Nice.
Yep.
Do you guys have a bit of a sibling rivalry whenever it comes to who's going to become a one champion first?
Oh, man, my sister's super talented, and man, I think it'd be super amazing to be able to come if you look at like Christian Lee and Angela Lee, like both them being champions, brother and sister. I would love to be able to do something like that with me and Colby. So hopefully we can do that in the future.
Nice. And in terms of her MMA skills, is there one thing that like she knows she's better at you that she always kind of picks on you for?
Yeah, actually, maybe flexibility. If someone puts me in like a move, like someone's trying to put me in a banana split or something, I get really flexible. But if we're like talking about just straight flexibility, I don't know. She gets me on that.
That's crazy though, because you're one of the best kickers in all of MMA. So I couldn't even imagine flexibility being an issue for you.
Thanks. Yeah, Colby's really flexible though.
Can you tell us a story about a time at the gym or outside when someone doubted how tough she was and it went a little poorly for them?
Actually, yeah, there was a time. I remember this. There was a girl in town when I was growing up in Houston she was like a Muay Thai champion, I think, at the time. I don't know her name, but someone kept bragging about her skill set and this and that. And Colby's obviously, my sister is like super skilled in martial arts and world karate champion, kickboxing champion, like super skilled. So anyways, yeah, Colby, I forgot who it was. Someone's like, yeah, bring over the Muay Thai champion girl. Like if she wants someone to spar, Colby will spar with her. Cause she was kind of like, what I remember growing up was like, I was pretty little. The lady was kind of like talking a lot of smack against like my sister and everybody around, saying she could beat everybody. So Colby went over there and sparred with the girl and kind of beat her up where the girl started crying and stuff. And,
oh my God.
Yeah. And I remember watching it and I'm thinking, oh man, like I'm watching, like witnessing this. And I'm like they should not have said anything bad about Colby.
Well, for anyone else in the division, do not start a war with Colby. We know that.
Yeah, she got pretty serious. Gotta watch out.
And kind of going back to, I guess, the Cosmo fight, a lot of people, especially guys like Joe Rogan, they talk about after a fighter suffers a bad knockout, how they should take a lot of time off. Was that kind of a conscious decision for you where you were like, for my longevity, I want to take the time off? Or was it more the injuries didn't allow you to get back in as soon as you wanted to?
Well, I mean, obviously I want to get back in as soon as possible, but yeah, no, I think it's smart when the fighters take some time off when they need it to heal up, whether they're healing from an injury or, like you said, like they get knocked out and they got to heal up brain-wise to make sure they're extending their longevity of their career. I mean, you want to be able to fight for as long as possible and have a great career with whatever organization you're fighting for. So, yeah, I think that's good. It kind of worked out too, in my favor, that when all the COVID stuff happened, I was actually just getting time to heal up from my injury. So, I think that was really good that the timing kind of worked out for me.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And so going on to your return, what is the ultimate goal in the MMA for you, and then in life after fighting?
Ultimate goal in MMA, I would say, obviously, I want to be the champion for one championship. For sure, that's my goal. Just like it's everybody's goal that's out there fighting, pretty much. I want to be the champion. I want to stay safe out there, and I want go out there and be one of the best fighters that have ever stepped foot into one championship. Take my performance to a whole new level and keep improving, which I think I'm going to be doing. And then outside of one championship, like we were talking about earlier, I think it'd be great to be able to be acting in movies, stuff like that. It would be really fun for me. And hopefully I can make an impact, a positive impact on all the people around the world, kids, families, adults, people that get to see me fight and get to hear me talk.
Yeah, I definitely think you do a good job of that. I mean, anywhere you look, no one says anything bad about Sage Northcutt, so you're definitely setting that positive example.
Thanks.
In that acting career, do you have any impressions that you do?
Oh, impressions? No, but you know my wife Amanda, she does voiceovers and she's super skilled. Like she does voiceovers for the cartoon shows on Netflix, like Trolls, Amphibia.
Nice.
Oh no, that's awesome.
Like anime stuff. Yeah, so she can do some killer impressions. Me, I need to practice.
Is she there? Is she there? Could we get her to do one?
I think she's actually studying upstairs for a part that she might be doing soon.
Oh, nice.
So.
Nice.
Yeah,
we definitely won't bug her
would.
then. and I guess the last question I think we have here, if you could fight one person, like a fantasy fight in one championship, past, present, or future, who would it be? Anyone.
Man, obviously he's not around, and obviously I don't know if he would have fought for one championship or what, because he's in movies and stuff, but Bruce Lee would have been sick to fight. He's got some crazy sidekicks. His speed and everything will be awesome. I think that would have been like a super cool fight. That would have been like a fantasy fight.
No, it definitely makes sense. You guys together stylistically, that would be literally like a movie.
Right. Maybe we'll see it in a video game.
What was that?
Maybe we'll see it in a video game one day.
Right, exactly.
And just before we let you go here, I know you have a lot of sponsors. If you want to give anyone a shout out, definitely do.
All right, cool. Yeah. I'm super thankful for Trifecta Nutrition, like especially during all the times of trying to get food at the grocery store and then being sold out. Trifecta delivers to my house all the time. So thank you to Trifecta. My sponsor, Redcall One, they got some of the best supplements around. I take all their supplements and they're amazing. Also, I guess I'll do a shout out to one of my friends. He just actually gave me, I'll show you, I'll walk outside.
Nice.
You got to see this. He's got this super cool fully electric motorcycle.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's pretty fast. It goes like 65, 70-ish. Fully electric. I think it's got like a 100-mile range. And other companies taking off. Yeah, his name's Sahid, so his brand's super cool. But yeah, you can see.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's all electric. So like a charging mount, you can hook it up. So yeah,
that's
I'm super
awesome.
thankful for that. Yeah, definitely. So I guess I would say them, and also Toyo Tires. Toyo's always been supporters of mine for like the last like 3, 4, 5 years. So those would be my sponsors. I'm super thankful for all of them. Nice.
Do you do off-roading?
Oh yeah. Oh, you saw the truck?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I go off-road sometimes. Actually, I put all these. I'll show you. So the truck came plain red, but I actually did all these decals myself on it, like the front and the hood. I like put all these on. There's like a mud splash in the back, and I installed this rack back here. But I'm kind of mechanical because I was doing engineering in school. So
it definitely helps.
Makes sense.
I changed the exhaust on the truck underneath. Yeah, just kind of have fun with stuff like that.
I'm still trying to figure out how to change my oil, man. So good for you.
Oh, really?
I haven't gotten that far yet. We got the washer fluid, so that's enough for now.
All right, there you go. That's good.
Awesome, though. I'm not sure if Alex has any more questions himself.
No, I think I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for taking your time, and we really do appreciate it. We know that you're one of the most popular fighters in the world right now, one of the most up-and-coming fighters, and the career you're going to have ahead of you is going to be incredible. And the career you've already had is already incredible as well.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get back.
Definitely. We hope you get better soon.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely good recoveries there. And just like Alex said, we definitely thank you for coming on. Much appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much. All right, cool.
Awesome. Have a good day, Sage.
See you guys.
All right.
Okay,
See you guys, man.
Thanks. Bye.